Pandemics and outbreaks have shaken even the most powerful. Throughout history, it has destroyed anything from cities to nations to even empires. And with COVID-19, we will most likely see this happen again. Currently, COVID-19 is a potential game changer. It has already brought to light socio-political issues and changed the political world. It may also represent a shift in world beliefs and a shift in world powers. The Athenian leader Pericles had his leadership questioned when there was a lethal outbreak of typhus called the Plague of Athens in his ancient city-state. Utter havoc raged as many began to disregard laws and lose faith in religion. The balance of power between citizens also changed due to many of the rich dying and their fortunes being inherited by the lower class. This plague also greatly contributed to Athens' loss of power. During the Black Death, many Europeans lost faith in Christianity because their all-knowing God did not come and protect them even when they suffered. 3 decades after that plague, peasants in England revolted in mass protest against King Richard II's harsh measures during the outbreak. These outbreaks have created ripples in cracks in even the most powerful of nations, such as England and Athens. A government's incompetence can spark doubt within its people, and a religion can even be questioned by its followers. Outbreaks do not only leave death in its footsteps, they also leave socio-political changes that transform the world. Today, the U.S. faces criticism of its growing wealth inequality and its flawed healthcare system. From the start of March to now, the net wealth of all billionaires have increased by $308 billion. This has happened whilst millions of Americans lost their jobs. The flawed healthcare system that charges exorbitant prices has not been united in this crisis and has resulted in the loss of thousands of lives. These events and failures have brought severe socio-political issues existing in the U.S. to light, and especially their capability as a government and their stability as a country. Eastern countries such as China, South Korea, and Japan tell a much different story than that of its Western counterparts. For example, COVID-19 has drawn the attention of the global community to a possibly corrupt government in China that has hid the scale of the pandemic from the public. This has instigated many accusations and investigations that may result in something that could change China's reputation and credibility on the world scale. On the eastern side of the world, we also see a much more centralized government. These countries have recovered much earlier than countries in the West, meaning that their economies are getting a head start. This could mean a potential shift of power from west to east as those countries are recovering first and can take advantage of restarting their economy before the West. There will no doubt be changes on the world scale, such as the view of global public healthcare. Failures were more pronounced in privatized healthcare such as the US compared to Canada's more unified healthcare response. It will be more emphasized and many people will now be able to see the benefit of it. No doubt, grassroots organizations will also rise to advocate for such a system. It also brings to light the incompetence of world organizations such as WHO. For example, Trump pulled the funding from WHO because of their inability to handle a world crisis, and the UN may face backlash and doubt due to them not naming it a pandemic earlier to alert other countries. The world may become wary of the ability of the UN and whether they are actually credible. COVID-19 has brought to light larger socio-political issues such as wealth inequality, corrupt governance, and even the powerlessness of world organizations. This has been a test of the competence of our world powers, and while many have succeeded, others have failed. And these successes and failures are what will define our post-COVID-19 world. Outbreaks throughout history have always represented the end of an era and the beginning of a new time. Although we are not sure what will happen after COVID-19, without a doubt, everything in this world is going to change.